It's Jennifer Booker, broker associate with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Florida Realty. And today I have a guest with me who I wanted to bring my guest in today to help us clarify our mortgage forbearance. The person I'm interviewing today has been in the lending business for over 19 years. He's worked with a wide array of clients from large banks to high-end financial institutions. And currently he's the regional market manager for Prosperity Home Mortgage. So please welcome Eric Spottswood.
Hello, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Of course, thank you for being here with us. So Eric, first of all, can you explain to us what is mortgage forbearance?
Absolutely. So forbearance is the ability to defer your mortgage payments for an undetermined amount of time. You can do it for as few as a month. You can even do it for an extended period of time, 3 months, 6 months. It's absolutely fantastic, and I think a real sign of the differences between this economy and what we saw back in 2008. What it allows us to do is, in 2008, they didn't have any sort of a guard against foreclosures happening because they knew the economy had basically collapsed into itself. There wasn't an end in sight. Since this is really pandemic specific, they knew that it's a shorter timeline between when this is going to happen and when people get back on track. So they allowed forbearance, so the ability to defer payments, to give people time to set their feet in while these furlough situations or layoffs are happening. And then as the market goes back up, they're going to have the payments come back into to repayment, and everybody be back to life as normal.
Let's hope that's sooner rather than later, for sure. Yes. Now, I've read that there's around 4.1 million homeowners who have had to use forbearance right now. So what will be the implications if someone's thinking about selling their home and turning around buying a new home if they decided to go through mortgage forbearance?
Yeah, absolutely. So it has been a great thing that they've rolled it out. You see about 8% of loans right now are in forbearance. So the big thing with forbearance is when it came out, the government entities said, we want to let you know that it's not going to impact your credit score. So they let it be known early on, whether you go into forbearance or don't, it won't have a negative impact on your score. What they didn't say going in, because they weren't really sure how they were going to treat this, was, is it going to have any impact at all? So they just came out just this past week with some guidance around that to say, well, what happens if you did go into forbearance? So there's really two separate scenarios that you run into. One of them is, I went out and I got approved for forbearance, but I never actually used it. I've seen some people who maybe own a restaurant say they weren't really sure how the business was going to keep going on. So they applied for and were approved for forbearance, but they never used it. They continued to make their mortgage payments. As long as you continue to make all your mortgage payments, you never actually skip the payment, then it has no impact. You can get a loan right away, whether you're purchasing or refinance. If you do go through and you leverage even 1 month of deferred payments, then you have to be back in repayment and have made 3 payments again before you're eligible to purchase or refinance again.
Okay. So again, once you are making 3 payments and you're back on track, so if somebody actually used it, they would have to wait about 3 months before they can sell, or just before they can buy?
Just before they can buy. So it's before they can get financing again. So you can sell your home at any point. There's really no restrictions there. Okay, but if the situation that I worry about is someone knows that they're going to be selling their house, they go into the impression of, well, maybe I'll just defer those payments for a month or two, and I could use those saved payments to maybe save up for new furniture or painting or closing costs. In that situation, it could really be a deterrent for them because they need to be back into repayment for those 3 months. And it's not 3 months, it's 3 payments. So it's an important differentiation there. So they have to have made 3 payments back in their repayment for their mortgage before they're eligible for financing.
Okay. Okay, great. And you did mention that it's not going to affect their credit scores. So to get a new mortgage, that's not going to be something that is going to be looked at.
Absolutely. Score is not impacted at all. There's just a little line on the credit that says that there was forbearance out there. And that's how underwriters know that there was any associated.
As you know, the market seems to be picking up, which is a good thing, but inventory is still low. So what is this going to mean for buyers? What can you recommend for buyers to do in the case that they are in a multiple offer situation, which I think is what we're going to go to when we start seeing more offers being put into, the low inventory that we have?
Yeah, absolutely. And to that, that's actually one of the things that's really helping in the real estate market right now. A lot of people associate, the word recession or any degradation in the market with what happened in 2008, which was dramatic drops in real estate values. Yeah. But if you look at the inventory, it was also way oversupplied back in '08. So there was a lot of inventory out there. So you think of that old, high school economics class, it's supply and demand. If I have way more supply than there is demand, my value is going to go down. In this market, it was a lean inventory even going into the pandemic scenario. So now that it's leaned up even more, what you're seeing, and most people would never associate this, is the economy is having a tough time and real estate values are still going up. Maybe not in every single market and every single price point, but as a whole, they're still going up. So what that means in general is people who are sitting on the sidelines, who are, quote unquote, waiting for the dust to settle, so to speak, you could actually be painting yourself into a little bit more of a corner because values just keep going up. The other thing it means is there's a lot of people who are in that same bucket. So when you have these people who are saying, I just want to wait till the dust settles, well, a lot of people are saying that. And when there's not a lot of inventory and there's a lot of pent up, desire to be in housing out there in the market, when the market does open back up, it's going to flood with these buyers. And to your point, it's going to lead to a lot more competitive situations. So my advice to all buyers is leverage the time to your advantage. It's up to you. Everybody has their own decision they need to make about when the right time for them to buy is. I'm not here to say when or is the right time for each individual person. But what I can say is whether or not you're ready to put a contract on a home today, it doesn't mean you have to wait and not have any impact on the process. So we have a program called the Buyer's Advantage Program. What it allows you to do is most of the time you go out and apply for a loan and you get a pre-approval letter. That's kind of the ticket to the game, so to speak, when you're out making an offer on a house, because they want to know that you've actually talked to somebody and you're qualified to make that offer. But the thing that we do that's different is we're going to take that pre-approval, we're going to start gathering documentation, just like you had a contract on a home. I'm going to fully underwrite your file and I'm going to turn that pre-approval into a full loan commitment. So what that says to sellers is pre-approvals are just stated information. It could be accurate, it could be not. And that's why not all pre-approvals end up making it through to closing. When you have a full loan commitment, you can say to a seller, I've been fully reviewed with all documentation by a lender and they've signed off on me. My approval is basically just as strong as a cash offer at that point. So what you want is as this market opens back up again and people are out there in competitive bid situations, if there's 4 bids on a home, you hope that 3 of them are pre-approval letters because now you're just competing on price and you've got the commitment, and that means that your offer is stronger than all of them. So it gives you a competitive bid. And with us, it's absolutely zero cost, absolutely zero commitment. So there's really no downside at all for someone to go through. We just know it offers buyers an advantage, hence our Buyer's Advantage title for it. But it offers you an advantage out there in the market, and we want to give you that chance every single time.
Well, and it can also shorten the time to close on the home because you've already gone through that loan commitment process. So that's great.
Absolutely. There's a lot of flexibility. And the other thing for me, I have no disillusions. No one goes in to find a new home because they just can't wait to get a loan. No one ever says, I want to go buy a new home because I just want a mortgage. Like that, yeah. We're not the fun part. We're not the interesting part of this. And I get that. I have no disillusions of that. But what it allows you to do is the part about getting a home normally that's inherently stressful is the loan. So you sign a contract and then you have to start working on a loan, but the stopwatch to closing has already started. So as that time squeezes down, the hair on your neck standing up and you're getting nervous. Well, if you get that all out of the way before you even have a contract, before you're out there even really seriously shopping, then when you get a home, your most stressful thing is how do I want to organize the furniture? How do I want to paint the walls? Like all those things, the stuff that's fun. Exactly. So get all this out of the way. It's less stressful. It allows you flexibility to your point in closing, because at that point, all I really need is appraisal and title and I'm done. Yeah. So it makes it easier, less stressful, faster, and it lets you win more bids. To me, there really is no disadvantage to doing it.
So how long will that pre-approval or loan commitment that you guys will give them last? How long do they have to find that home that they love to put in an offer in?
So what I like to say to people is as long as nothing changes in your scenario and in the market, approvals are really almost good in perpetuity. But what happens is the market does change. Rates change, people's situation changes with work. So if you wanted a little bit more of a finite time, when we pull credit is good for 90 days. At the end of 90 days, we have to repull it. Now, to the extent that your credit hasn't changed, your income situation hasn't changed, the rates haven't changed, we just do a quick credit pull, revalidate it, and the approval's valid again. So you can keep that approval going forward, but a 90-day ticker on that credit is normally a good kind of stake in the ground for how long it's good for.
Okay, that's great. Well, thank you so much again for coming in and giving us some clarity and some tips to our buyers who might still be on the fence and waiting a little bit on what they can do right now to to get going. And let us know also, what is the best place for anyone to connect with you if they had more questions?
Absolutely. You can call me, you can text me. I have, as you mentioned, I cover the state of Florida for Prosperity Home Mortgage. I have mortgage consultants local to every single area. Like I said, call, text 904-982-1081. My name's Eric Spottswood. Again, 904-982-1081. You can get me morning, noon, night, weekdays, weekends. I've got a 4 and a 6-year-old at home. I don't sleep that much anyway. There's no too early. You need me, I'm here for you.
Okay, great. And I'll also link your information on my website, which is jenniferbooker.com. Thank you again. And we will, I'm sure, be bringing you back with some more questions later on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Pleasure.
All right.